Today's 683rd day that I'm here to share this is a learn. I'm learning. I hope those lessons support your dreams, your goals, allow you to become the person that you want to become. Today I speak about capacity and ability. There's a huge difference in capacity and ability in personal development. Because a lot of times people want to build skill sets and that's abilities. But if you do not have capacity, it's very hard to build a meaningful skill set. And if you build capacity and you have capacity for something, but you're not able to use that capacity to build skill set, it's not working as well. So really, when you want to have a great life, you need to master capacity and ability. So let's look into capacity and ability in example, how that works. Imagine that you want to learn how to play basketball. So if you are just shooting ball in a basket, that means you potentially could build the skill set of shooting ball into the basket. But if you are not a good health and you're not able to run properly, and if your physique is not in place, you will not be able to play basketball. You will have just one skill at this time, just shooting in a basket. But if you really want to play basketball in the highest level, what you need to do, you need to have a physique capacity. That means you need to take care of your body and exercise very well. Because when you take care of your body and you have physical health and that is very high level, now you're able to choose what kind of abilities do you want to build. Do you want to play soccer? Do you want to do some kind of athletics? Do you want to do some wrestling? Do you want to play basketball? So it means capacity of physical activities, physical health. That's his capacity. And now you need to choose what kind of abilities you will need to build, what kind of abilities you want to build to really play and use that capacity. Now, of course, if you don't have a physical capacity and health, you will not be able to build abilities in the highest level because you don't have energy to do so. So that means you need to have both to really succeed in life, because if you have capacity, physical health, but now you don't improve the skill set, you will not be able to perform. You'll be just a person who is very fit, but at the same time doesn't create any skill set to achieve anything. And there's a lot of healthy people who are physical healthy, but they don't pursue any skill, and they live a healthy life, but at the same time they don't build something meaningful in sports arena. Of course, if you want to be known in the sports, you need to build some kind of ability with the capacity. So that means you need to evolve in both of them to be able to succeed. So in a short period, in short, capacity is a potential and ability is a skill. Capacity is a potential and ability is a skill. Because when you look into a person who is very energetic and he has energy, you see that he has a lot of potential. But when he uses and builds with that energy some skill, of course, then you're able to use that ability as a skill. Second thing is that both of them are important. As I said, that you're not able to really succeed in life without both of them. Now let's look into really personal development and how capacity and ability works together to make sure that you're able to succeed in life. So I will give you 7 examples of capacities and 7 examples of abilities. So emotional capacity, resilience capacity, cognitive capacity, physical capacity I mentioned, creativity capacity, communication capacity, empathy capacity. So there's a lot of capacities, because when you look at your emotional capacity, so those capacities will lead to a lot of different abilities. Because when you know that you're able to have a big emotion capacity, you're able to transfer multiple things. So let's look into those emotional capacities and what kind of abilities you're able to build. So leadership ability, public speaking ability, negotiation ability, sales ability, networking ability, self-reflection ability, and financial literacy ability. So when you have really high capacity, you're able to build a lot of abilities that are in the highest level. So let's look into emotional capacity and resilience capacity. When you have those together, that means you're able to really understand yourself, understand others, and because you're able to understand yourself and others, what that does, that means that you're able to be a great communicator. You're able to really use those skills, those capacities in leadership skills, in public speaking skills, in sales and negotiation. All those capacities are essential to build those skill sets. That's why it's very, very important to work very hard to improve your capacities. That means emotional, resilient capacity. So what are you able to do? Because let's say that you have from 1 to 10, resilience capacity is 3. So that means when the challenge comes at you, like 1, 2, you will be able to handle. 3, you will be able to handle. But when there's a challenge that comes to your way that are 5, 6, 7, but your resilience capacity is 3, what you will do? You will quit. You will quit because you're not able to handle that kind of challenges, that kind of problems. So that means we always need to increase our capacity in resilience, that we are not overwhelmed by those challenges. Because problems will come big or small, and you're not able to have a lot of times control what kind of problems comes to your way. But what you're able to control is resilience capacity, because you're able to increase it. Now, the more you increase resilience capacity, people are able to see that. People are able to see that you are always calm, peaceful. You have that inner peace, and you're able to handle yourself and situations. And because of that, people want to have that kind of person in their organization, in their leadership, in their place. So that means they want to bring you in on board because they want you to handle problems come in. Because to be honest, majority of people are not able to handle problems because they have huge anxiety, and because of that huge anxiety, not thinking properly. Because not thinking properly, then that problem gets even bigger. But that when you are able to build resilience capacity, and you're not afraid of big problems coming to your way, you become super valuable, super valuable. And that's why leadership is a position that people get paid a lot. And not because sometimes of the skill sets of other skills or the knowledge or cognitive capacity that they have, but only because they have resilience capacity. Because that sometimes is much more important, and being able to control your emotions. That's why it's emotional capacity and resilience capacity, to be able to really control your emotions and being okay with problems coming to your way is sometimes is much more important, because there's a lot of very intelligent people. A lot. People are very, very, very smart, intelligent, but problems come their way, their intelligence are going sideways. So that means every team needs a leader who doesn't get bothered by big challenges, big problems, and they're able to direct very intelligent people who are not able to control themselves when the challenges come in. But when someone tells them exactly what they need to do, they're able to do it perfectly. That's why of course, you need to have cognitive capacity. That means that, and those people who have a very high cognitive capacity, but they don't have resilient capacity, they're not able to be leaders, but they could be very high in the company, and the leader who comes in and says, this is exactly what you need to do, and this person will be the best. So when you look into your capacities and say that, okay, I'm not able to handle challenges, problems, and I'm able, but I have very good cognitive capacity, and you say I could be an amazing employee, you're able to be that. You're able to do that. You're able to be that. But are you okay being just employee? Maybe you want a business owner, and you say that I do not have resilience capacity and emotion capacity. As if there's a huge good news, because you're able to change that, you're able to improve that, you're able to be self-aware and really look into how you're able to improve. So that means you always go after a little bit bigger challenges that you are growing, expanding your capacities. Because to be honest, capacity is very hard sometimes to improve. It takes time. It takes time to improve capacity and expand capacity. But when you expand, it stays longer. But of course, you need to work on it. While abilities, most times it's much, much easier. You are working for a month and you already could tell that you are much better. Because when you think about abilities and skills, there's a study that if you allocate 100 hours on one skill, you will become top 10% in that skill. Only 100 hours. That's only 100 hours. That means if you allocate 100 days of 1 hour a day, you will become top 10% in that skill. Imagine if you want to be top 5%, of course, you will need to invest more, maybe 1,000 hours and 10,000 hours when you want to become top 1%. But if you just want to become top 10% in one ability, one skill, you just need to invest 100 hours. That is very relieving, because sometimes people say, oh, it will take forever to build that skill. No, to become top 10%, it doesn't take that much time. Now, of course, capacity takes a little bit more time, and people who has that innate capacity, because I know that capacity is a little bit more innate, while abilities is totally built. But even though that is innate capacities a lot of times, we're able to change it, improve that. And of course, number one thing, we need to ask who you want to become and what kind of vision you have for yourself, what kind of purpose you have for yourself, and what kind of capacities and abilities you need to build over time that you could achieve your purpose, that you could achieve your vision, that you could achieve the person that you want to be and become. And both of them will be required for you to get there. Because, for example, I want to build leadership ability. That is essential. Public speaking ability, sales ability, networking ability, really, and build all that communication ability and at the same time capacity. Because communication capacity is, in general, how you communicate with everything, with body language, with verbal, with everything that allows you to communicate with, because you just don't communicate with words, you communicate with all body language and tonalities. And there's so many things that you need to master to become really, really good communicator. And I think that every single person needs to understand what they need to improve, because if you want to, for example, I want to be to build leadership ability. So that means that I will need to work on multiple capacities as well. So that means empathy is essential if you want to be a leader. Communication capacity is essential to be a leader. Physical capacity is essential to be a leader, because if you don't have energy, how are you supposed to be a leader? Cognitive capacity is important, of course, not as important as empathy and emotional capacity and resilience, but at the same time, it's important to have understanding of things, because if you don't able to understand things, how are you supposed to be a leader? Because leaders are see first before other people see. And a lot of times that is because they put more effort, and because they put a lot more effort, they start to be much more intuitive in things. And because that intuition allows him to step forward 1-2 steps and start leading other people who are able to see that they're able to see things, but they need to show that first 2 steps forward before they're able to jump in and really take things happen and make things happen. So when I think about capacity and ability, I just love to end that capacity and ability are essential in our lives. And every single person will need to decide what they want to build to really live the life that they could feel fulfilled. As I said, there will be multiple capacities and multiple abilities. And I would love to ask you what kind of abilities and capacities you are working on now. Because if you're not intentional, might be that you're growing some capacities, you're growing some abilities, but if you're not intentional, it doesn't grow as fast as it could. So I hope you choose to win, and see you tomorrow.